join Mad Science Films. I'm Jimmy P, filmmaker and sexual astronaut. And as ever, I'm joined by my addictive co-host,
James Morrissey, one half of the Mad Science Films team. So guys, don't forget, if you do like this video, then please hit that like button if you've been enjoying the Mad Science content and want to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook. If you have any comments or suggestions, then leave those in the comment section down below. Let's crack on with the show.
Yow. Also, guys, please check out our fourth feature film for free. Say that even faster. On YouTube now. Just search for Little Monster or click on the link in the show notes below. This week, we are campaigning for a forgotten masterpiece of genre cinema to be given the sweet, sweet Blu Ray treatment. And this week is my choice. We're going back to 1982 for Attack of the Super Monsters, directed by Toru Sotoyama and Tom Weiner. In the year 2000, the dinosaurs reappeared on Earth, terrorizing mankind. Yeah, that's the full synopsis.
Wow, that was it. Oh.
Yeah, I've stolen that off IMDb, so that's what you're getting, guys. Yeah. So, Attack of the Super Monsters, Jim. Is this regular viewing in your household?
No. I wasn't sure if I dropped acid beforehand, to be honest. Yeah, it just, I mean, it's clearly, I think, made for kids. I'm assuming so. It seems like you perhaps would watch on a Saturday morning. I admire the production. I admire the effort gone into mixing up those mediums of animation with, live action. And I think there's a bit of stop motion at the beginning.
Yeah, it looked to be a bit. Yeah.
So they really, storyboarding this would have been a bit of a challenge, I can imagine, and then communicating now with the different departments. So I really admire the production part of this film. I did feel it could have worked better as a series. Like it felt like definite episodes within a film. So I think there was definitely chopping blocks.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And I agree 100%. So it was actually a Japanese TV show called Dinosaur Wars Eisenberg. And basically, very badly, American production company, obviously led by Tom Weiner, grabbed a bunch, I think the first 4 episodes, and very roughly just slammed them together. I mean, literally, I think stripped off like the opening credits and the end credits and just banged them together. Which means, and I agree with you, as a feature film, it doesn't really work because there's no real end to the story. It's like, okay, there we go. So the original TV show, I think, had like 39 episodes. Whether it did wrap up or whatever, I don't know. I haven't been able to track down like the last episodes. I did track down, I don't know if this was an official release, but I did also track down and watch Attack of the Super Monsters 2, but it was in Japanese with really funny subtitles. Like clearly it was genuine subtitles when the human characters were talking, but also had subtitles when the dinosaurs were just looking and reacting, comedy subtitles. So I don't know whether Attack of the Super Monsters 2 was a proper release or somebody else just took like the next 4 episodes and slammed them together. But that can be tracked down on YouTube as well. Yeah, as you say, production-wise, this is why I love this, because I haven't seen anything else like this. It's like a mix of anime, a mix of like kaiju, like the giant Japanese monsters, and a mix of something else called like tokusatsu. I think that's how you pronounce it, and that's basically like the Power Rangers kind of thing, the Power Rangers, the original Japanese series, Super Sentai, and all that kind of stuff. So it's all mixed together, and it's a really odd choice. And I was watching it and I was digging it and I was really enjoying it, and but at certain times, like me with my filmmaker hat, was kind of going, wouldn't this just be cheaper and easier just to do it all as an animation? Like I can imagine, obviously, it being more expensive maybe to do it all live action, but this is round about the time in Japan, like they'd had at least 2 decades worth of like Ultraman shows, which again was like this precursor to like the Power Rangers and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm glad they did. But yeah, at every time I was kind of like, okay, this is really weird. And I kept on having this shift. Like, you know, I'd get used to like the live action giant monster stuff. And then boom, we'd be jumping into fully animated. And then boom, we'd jump back to like live action stuff, but with the animated characters running across the live action background.
Yeah, they kind of clashed it together at points. Yeah, it was a bit jarring. It was a bit, I was distracted from the story. Not like the story was very layered or there was a lot to really take in. No. Like I said, I think it was mainly, you know, set out for kids to watch rather than adults. But
exactly. I think if people are used to watching, say, an episode of Power Rangers where, although it's a different monster of the week, and again, there seem to be four different monsters within these, you know, this one film, the structure is exactly the same. So there's a point at which, you know, they got to get into their like spaceship plane thing that then turns into like a truck, which then has to split into two, and then this bit was like, I'm not sure you need this, guys, but sure, there was the Jim and Jem, brother and sister, who was cyborgs. So they were
I wasn't quite clear on that.
Or androids maybe, and then they combine via magic, I guess, and become Gemini. And then their truck then turns into this flying thing with a giant drill on the front, which again didn't understand, but fully on board with. It's like taking every bit from like every like Japanese sci-fi fantasy trope and just like sticking it together and not really caring if you can see the seams. Yeah, it's not perfect, obviously. I mean, when have I ever picked a perfect film for one of these shows? Yeah?
I just think that's just the nature of what we're doing for this show. Is we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel, and sometimes I feel like I'm a lawyer trying to defend an obvious murderer. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard sometimes, but you got to find something. I think, but like you said, you know,
just need to be clear in case of any future lawsuits. We're not saying that the makers of Attack of the Super Monsters killed anybody. Okay. They might have done.
There was a part of this in the film where I thought, "Ooh, that's a bit thing," where Jim smacks his sister in the face.
There was a few bits of this, and again, sorry, like because I rewatched Attack of the Super Monsters last night, and then I watched the sequel. I might be jamming two together, but it also had that thing which I don't know if you remember from like He-Man when we were growing up. There's like a moral to the story as well, and it's done so half-assed. Yeah, like two characters were arguing and who's right and who's wrong and should he learn and da, 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 da. And it's resolved by him slapping his sister, and at the end they just agree, let's just never fight again. It's like
and it's funny because the actual feud starts because Jim's best friend Michael, who runs a laundry, a rat got into his sister's blouse, which he was washing, and chewed through it. And then Jim was angry at Michael because of the rat chewed through the blouse. And then Jen was sticking up for Michael. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I mean,
he should really be paid for that. It's like, what the fuck?
I loved it, mate. I mean, for me, it just grounds the fact that, you know, even though they are, you know, what they call D-Force, D-Sentai, and they're there to save the day, they still have regular problems, just like us normal people, you know. I think that my blouse got eaten by a rat.
Yeah, I just think for me as a film, I thought it may have been a series because they had the same format repeat throughout, and that got a bit tedious. But then I think if they could edit that out or replace with or something like that, perhaps as a film it could work a bit better.
Definitely. And I think that's going to feature in my recommendations. What needs to be done with it? I don't think you should just slap it on a Blu Ray, put it out there, and unleash it onto an unsuspecting public. I mean, it'd kind of be funny to do that. But you know, I think there's a better job you could do with it. The one thing I'll say that I was kind of disappointed and surprised that they didn't have, bearing in mind everything else they did have, there's no giant robot. I mean, it's like, come on, guys, you guys have got giant dinosaurs. You've got like vehicles that turn into other stuff. You've got people that combine into robot hermaphrodites. Where is my giant robot? Now, I did a bit of reading. And I found out later in the series, so I don't know how far, but they do then start turning into a giant robot as well. So
yeah, that makes sense.
of course it makes sense. Yeah, why wouldn't it make sense?
Perfect sense. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, going back to your point, I admire the effort. I mean, 1982, so you know,
I think the series is that's when the like American movie
it was released. Yeah.
So I think the TV series was more like the 70s. And there was a precursor series again with dinosaurs, whether they just reused the same outfits, puppets or whatever. Because that's another thing. Like at first, I assumed it was just like a giant man in a monster suit, but then as some of the later monsters, it was more kind of like hand puppets and puppets as well.
No, they really went all out. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there was no effect or trickery, you know, not used for this, and you really gotta admire fucking fire come out of the mouth.
That was a dangerous day, I've got to be honest.
Yeah. A lot of explosions, and there was kind of like scaled down cities and stuff like that. So yeah, I was just watching it from thinking, fuck, what a crazy thing to make. You know, this must have been an absolute fucking nightmare, possibly. I don't know. I mean, I'd be interested to see on a Blu Ray. Absolutely. The making of would be absolutely fantastic to watch, because I think that alone would be a crazy ride. So, yeah.
So, Jim, who do you reckon is best placed then to put this bad boy out on Blu Ray?
Oh, mate, it's a tricky one, this one, to be honest. I had a little look. I'm no expert. And there's a few labels that do a lot of Asian films, like Grasshopper Films, possibly. Criterion, they had like the likes of Godzilla, so big monsters.
I think might be too highbrow. Criterion might be a bit too highbrow. I
mean, I really struggle with this, to be honest. Third Window as well, so you may have a better insight.
Third Window, I agree. Yeah, they do kind of pick some of the weirder Asian stuff. They did the what's it, Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell, aka the Japanese Evil Dead. They picked that up, so that's not a bad call. I didn't think of that, but yeah, I can imagine them putting that out. I'm going, and again, this I reckon Shout Factory should put this bad boy out, because I reckon they're going for like the American retro Saturday morning kids cartoon kind of vibe. And I think the ideal release would be picking up Attack of the Super Monsters and Attack of the Super Monsters 2, if that was a genuine release and not just like a fan edit, and then picking up Dinosaur Wars Eisenborg and releasing like a really nice package with that. Definitely with as much behind the scenes material as possible. Now, whether some of these guys are still alive or not, I don't know. I think a lot of the guys who did like the kaiju aspects, so the man in the suits and the puppet stuff, those guys were attached to the Ultraman series from like the 60s and 70s. So even if they're not alive, I think there's enough stuff out there already, you know, about them and stuff that I think a really good like making of with archival material could be pulled together. And I think those guys would be great to kind of put that out. So yeah, Shout Factory, we're coming for you. I want my Attack of the Super Monsters Blu Ray box set.
I'm sure you'll get it.
Jim, so you've watched Attack of the Super Monsters. You're not tripping your balls off. You might have munchies. So what do you want as your follow-up movie for this?
I probably want to lie down, to be honest, but if you need to recommend, if you're looking for more of the same, the only thing in my bank of knowledge with this kind of genre is check out the Power Rangers. That Tom Weiner, I think he was an actor in those, was he?
Right. I don't know.
Yeah. So Tom Weiner is connected to the Power Ranger franchise. So check some Power Rangers. I was going to put in Team America in there just because the crazy puppetry and all that kind of crazy shit.
I got that on there. Yeah, good call. Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it, mate.
Fair enough. No, fair enough, mate. Also, a little disclaimer. I'll start with Team America as well. Don't let your kids see Team America yet.
No, God, no.
Longer. This is just for us weird guys who like watching stuff designed for kids and just I've also gone with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. I think that'll be a fun little double bill. And I haven't seen it, so I can't really recommend it, but they also made like a second Power Ranger movie called Turbo, so that's out there. On Netflix, a couple of the movies like Mobile Suit Gundam. So that's like classic 80s anime. And again, you know, giant robots in space kind of thing. So that's good. I also got loads of like the old school 60s Thunderbirds vibe.
Oh, yes,
Kind of
yes.
goes back to Team America. That puppet kind of action there as well. So yeah, and you know, like the rescue team and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, check out some Thunderbirds if you can. I think they did some old 60s movies. I know, unfortunately, I think it's early 2000s. There was a Thunderbirds movie with Bill Paxton, which doesn't look anything like Thunderbirds, but that exists. Yeah. So, you know, if you're desperate, watch that. Yeah, those are my recommendations.
Also, Captain Scarlet. Remember Captain Scarlet many moons ago?
Yeah, that was slightly for older kids. So yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
awesome. So guys, have you seen Attack of the Super Monsters? What did you guys think of it? Were you wondering what kind of life decisions have you made that have brought you to this point? Also, what other films do you think would go in a nice double bill with Attack of the Super Monsters? Let us know in the comments, because I'm up for that. Yeah, definitely. Also, if anybody knows where any sneaky links for the rest of the Dinosaur Wars Eisenberg are, I'd like to check it out and see the giant robot, because I was, slightly underwhelmed. Anyway, also, guys, if there's any other forgotten pieces of genre cinema that you think deserve the Blu Ray treatment, let us know and we'll check them out and we'll do our best to get these bad boys released. Jim, what else can these peeps do?
Well, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can come follow us on Facebook and leave your comments and sections.
Yeah,
comments in the comment sections. Leave your sections. And yes, until next time, goodbye.